What's up, guys? Neil Orford here to talk a little no house advantage NBA. Just got a little 2-game slate here, but we actually have some nice bets on the board to talk about here. You can see we've got the Pick'em Pro tool on my screen right now. I'm going to show you some of our top bets on that Pick'em Pro tool. I think it is the best tool in the industry for no house advantage. We actually have a great deal going on right now for the Pick'em Pro tool. If you use promo code SCORE, you can get 50% off your first week. It's usually $9.95 per week, but you can get 50% off your first week if you use promo code SCORE. Link should be in the description. Otherwise, just use promo code SCORE when you sign up. By the way, while you're coming in, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. Of course, we also have the usual, we still have a first deposit match bonus going on No Host Advantage up to $100. So just use promo code Stochastic. They will match up to $100. You deposit $100, they'll put another $100 in bets into your account. If you deposit just $20, they will put $20 into your account. So as much as you want, up to $100. Use promo code Stochastic to take advantage of that deal that we have going on right now at No Host Advantage. Probably not going to last forever, so make sure you take advantage of that deal as well. And then Pick'em Pro, as I said, that's the tool that I've got on screen right now. These are, of course, based on projections that are managed by Alex Baker, Steve Buzzard, Sean Zahn, some of the best DFS players of all time. Their projections that they've used for forever to crush at DFS, they are now letting us use those for the props as well. That's what this is based on. And I think we've actually got some nice bets here today, even though it's just 2 games tonight. Starting with this Batum one, I'll go through and I'll add these bets to a card and show you the ones that I like. I think I've actually already added that one. Yes, I have. But this Batum one, the under on 7.5 points just comes down to, he actually hasn't been playing all that many minutes. He has been starting. He started the last 3 games. And 3 games ago, he actually got significant minutes. 31 minutes 3 games ago, but Nick Batum probably can't hold up for 30 minutes a game. They've kind of brought him back down to 19 and 23 minutes the past 2 games. And looking at, we've got him projected for 24 minutes. So that's the high end, higher than he's played the past 2 games. He averages just 6.2 points in 22 minutes per game. The line is up at 7.5. So even if he gets up to 7 points, we're still going to get the under there. So I like taking the under on Nick Batum, 7.5 points. As you can see, I've already added that to the card. Can't make a bet with just 1 pick, so I'm going to make a few more here as well, but I think that's a good place to start. And then, after we add a second pick, I'll show you the payout structure as we go. So can't do it with 1, but I'll keep finding some more picks here. I think I'm laying off this Jimmy Butler pick just because Bam Adebayo is questionable tonight. If Bam sits, I think that we would like the over on this PRA prop for Jimmy Butler. So I'm not gonna take this one just because I think it's a little bit risky, given that Bam is questionable. Also going to lay off this Russell Westbrook assist prop. Don't love it. He's just he's starting with Paul George.
All right, Stochastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you with a quick show for a 9-game NBA slate, as the association played 2 games yesterday. They got none tomorrow. So no Lindy's leans, likes, and locks for the NBA streets. It'll be out there for the MLB streets. I am joined by Team Eric co-founder Eric Lindquist. What's going on, my friend?
Doing well. Well, 2 things. 1, we didn't even know if we were going to get to do this show this week, which was sad stuff. Maybe next week. I don't know what the schedule is for next week. We're always kind of 1 week ahead of time planning out what needs to happen. I mean, I haven't looked at next Sunday yet if there's no NBA on Monday. I'm assuming there's probably not, if I had to guess, with the play-in game. 1 more week of the regular season. But then secondly, pretty sure you wanted to start this show a half hour early, and I said no to that. And
yes.
Are you upset with me?
No, not at all. But I agreed to do. I felt it was fine that we do an hour, and then I went and looked at the schedule, and it still had you as being replaced, and it said 90 minutes. So that's what I wrote in my article today. So there's a little miscommunique there in the back office. Producer Chris,
you were the one who wanted it the whole time, and I said no. And then it's like, oh, I guess we're going to do 90 minutes now that Eric's not going to be on it, but then I'm on it. So there you go.
It was just confusing. But next Sunday we're doing a special early show. Okay, there's 2 hours of live before lock. NBA tips off at 1 o'clock with 7 games or 8 games, and then 7 games at 3:30
on Easter.
Yes.
What?
Because it's the last day of the season, so they're playing everything in 2 ways.
That is so dumb. I have stuff to do on Easter. Are you kidding me?
Eastern Conference in the morning, Western Conference in the afternoon.
The NBA just needs to This feels awkward, Ocean Hudson. Lots of things are awkward about this first 5 minutes, but we have no time to waste. We got ZMac said 9 games. Let's party, shall we?
Let's ride, as they say.
Let's ride.
Are you ready?
Some people say that. Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, everybody. Key things we need to know. Washington at the Knickerbockers. This is a messy game. Beal, Kuzma, Porzingis, Morris, and Pride all out the window right now for Washington. New York is going to be without Randall. RJ Barrett is sick. Derrick Rose is out. Washington, 12-point underdogs on the road. What do you want to play here? And how much Isaiah quickly will that end up being?
A lot. I think everybody on both sides of the ball looks pretty darn good. Starting with Jordan Goodwin, 4K for him. I think he's about appropriately owned at 50% ownership that we're looking at. 4K for him. Jalen Brunson, my favorite play from the entire game. That shouldn't surprise anybody. 8,400. I feel like I've been over the field on him almost every slate all season long. I will continue to be. It has worked very, very nicely. There's no doubt without Julius Randle, without RJ Barrett, it's just going to be a lot of Jalen Brunson. And now that absence of RJ Barrett, Emmanuel quickly just stands out in a pretty prominent way. 7,800 doesn't really make you feel all warm and fuzzy, but we got to see, just like everything today, we're going to be paying close attention to starting lineups, make sure that we have everything as it comes through here. Who do you think ends up starting for the Knicks?
Well, obviously it will be Brunson, quickly, Hart, Toppin, and Robinson. Okay,
so you think Hart goes in there, because that's kind of my thing, is like I think there's a chance quickly ends up getting in there, and either way, I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have higher ownership on him. I mean, right now he's 1.8% owned. I would be well north of that at 7,800. I just see it as a spot where, I mean, why wouldn't you play him 34 plus minutes? Like, how many minutes would you be projecting for him in this spot? We have him at 33. I get that there's a lot of really, really good plays, but I want all my really, really good plays to go for 50 plus and going completely nuts. People are saying Grimes will be starting. Grimes has been starting like the whole time. So I think Grimes has to be in that starting 5. I didn't hear if you said that, but yeah.
No. I misspoke. I had the wrong thing up, but I agree, because I went and looked, and he started at least the last 15 games from what I pulled
he's
up,
started a bajillion in a row for the most part. But yeah, we'll see who that starter ends up being. But either way, I have interest in Josh Hart, presuming he's going to be the starter there. And then I'll also have interest for sure in quickly coming off the bench. I will say, we haven't projected for 1.8% ownership. I do not think that ends up being accurate. I think enough people realize that the Knicks, without Barrett, without Randall, will want to have some offense coming out there playing 32 plus minutes. And I think quickly makes some sense as a tournament option.
Absolutely. So looking at the Wizards, the key players, there's 2 players I want to play. And it's DeLon Wright and basically Denny Avdia. And that's it.
Well, you don't have any Jordan Goodwin interest.
I am so terrified by him. I guess he's an also ran. We'll see what pops up in the optimizers. I'm hoping we get some additional value that makes him irrelevant. It does help that Monty Morris is out, because that was just he and Goodwin were kind of splitting things.
Yeah, not to bury the lead. I think for me, the biggest question mark of this entire slate revolves around Denver. They're the very last game of the night. They're the only one starting at 8:30. you can basically stack up your lineups where you just assume that you're going to get Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. Like, you can sit on some of that information and just kind of wait for it. They're in a tough spot against Golden State, but they are at home this time. I have no idea what to make of it. Jamal Murray being probable and firing him up and putting him in lineups automatically makes a lot of sense to me. And so I can kind of swap into things as news comes out throughout the entire day. But obviously, if there's Jokic, there's nobody on Denver that's a priority. I mean, even Jamal Murray, I would want to get less of, even though I'm preloading lineups with Aaron Gordon now is up to 6,800, but I don't care. I'd play all of him in the land if there was no Jokic. What value you're going to be playing here? So yeah, Jordan Goodwin, the argument against a 50% Jordan Goodwin is more stuff could show up.
Yes. I see in chat they're talking about Johnny Davis as well. No, I want to play somebody who I think could score 20 fantasy points. He's scored 20 fantasy points once this year. And I want no part of him. Being a Wizards fan is just it's too soon. I can't
imagine it's an enjoyable experience.
I've never seen a team screw up so many lottery picks. Like, it's hard to be that ineffective.
That incompetent. Yeah.
Ernie Grunfeld and keep your job for 17 years or whatever it was as the GM. Disaster.
Insanity.
Let me see here. I do think that the wager of the day is DeLon Wright, multiple steals. This season he's averaging a career best 2.7 steals per 36 minutes and 1.8 steals per game. And in the 22 games where he's played at least 24.6 minutes, he has multiple steals 16 times.
Pretty good.
I like that.
Pretty good.
We'll have to see if that's still popping up there on BetPro, but it was this morning. Anything else from this game that you would like to hit on? I mean, where do you stand on Wright and Avdia? Are they? I mean,
I like Denny Avdia. Oh, we got news that Johnny Davis could start. Would that change your opinion on Johnny Davis?
I don't want him, and now I don't want Jordan Goodwin.
I mean, it's pretty tough to look at 3,700 and 4K and not have some exposure against this Knicks team that, I mean, you get Brunson, Grimes, Hart. It's interesting. It's a decent enough spot. There's just so few people that are capable of playing like the guard spot. Like, they have Quentin Jackson, who I believe is in uniform. So that's something to be paying attention to. But yeah, I'm with you where I think DeLon Wright, 5,900, assuming he's starting and it's not going to be replaced or something by Johnny Davis. But you've got Wright, Avdia, and then I like Gafford for tournaments at 6K, 5.6% ownership. I don't know how you don't want to have some interest there. The rebound rate without Porzingis and Kuzma on the floor, interesting. Same kind of thing you have for Denny Avdia, where you got to give him a little bit of a bump there too. Taj Gibson has been in this rotation. The last couple has been playing like 11, 12, 10 minutes. So it's enough to take a little bit off the top for Gafford. But coming down the end of the season, I think there's a chance that he could go out, if he stays out of foul trouble, plays 30 plus minutes. He just played 29 and 33 the last two. We haven't projected around 28. I think there's definitely 30 plus minute upside there.
Yeah, and a good question from chat asking how many players from this game would you get on either side? I think we're going to get DeLon, Avdia, Brunson, and Quickly. Those would be the ones I would focus on.
Love it.
Game number 2.
Yes, sir.
All righty. This one should be a bit of a snooze fest. Pistons, 12-point underdogs in Orlando. Detroit without Bogdanovich, Burks, Stewart, Magruder, Diallo, Cunningham, and all hope. Orlando regulars are good to go. I like Markelle Fultz. That's really it from this game. What is standing out for you? I know you like to dabble with the Pistons from time to time. There's not many left.
Yeah, it's tough for now. It's a lot more uncomfortable. I mean, I don't think this is the slate you want to be playing a backup Jalen Duren. You have to hope for foul trouble. You have to hope somehow he ends up getting the lion's share of the center minutes. Because if I project him for the 25 or 24 minutes that I would in every single situation for him coming off the bench, I'm just not going to get to him on a slate like this. Too many games, too many other things to get to. Detroit, complete write-off for me. If you got to some shares of a Killian Hayes, have at it. I don't have a single Piston in 50 lineups today, so that is what it is. And I'm only playing DraftKings for what it's worth. Orlando, much more interesting. Going up against Detroit's always fun. Wild to see them as 11-point favorites. Welcome to late season NBA. But Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, you can get to as much of them as you would want. Because again, if I'm going to get to this mid-range, I want everybody to be capable of putting up 50 plus in this kind of a spot. And both of them can definitely do that against the Pistons. Paolo Banchero jumping up in our projections for sure, projected north of 40. Hard not to like that with the power forward eligibility.
Anything else from this one?
Markelle Fultz, 6,700. I think there's a case to dabble a little bit there. But that is the only other guy. Wendell Carter Jr. is pulling a lot of ownership going up against Detroit. His price is down to 6,200, but he hasn't exceeded 30 minutes now in his last 3. I don't know if that's something they're going to be doing coming down to the end of the season. Obviously, they're out of it, but Goga played 22 minutes against Washington. On a different slate, I would have Goga interest because he's an over fantasy point per minute guy. Absolutely nobody's playing him. And when you get to late season NBA, there's always a chance that it just turns into a 24-24 split like this. I don't think this is the slate to be taking that shot, but just want you to have that on your radar for the future.
All right. The only people getting ownership on DK are the 3 you mentioned, Banchero, Wagner, and Carter. Fultz is really not there. I would have thought he'd be more intriguing today. On
Wagner,
that one.
I do like Wagner's.
No, Fultz. Fultz more than
Fultz. Yeah, totally. Fultz, it's like he's a luxury spend. Like if you have a pretty chalky lineup, find a way to get to Fultz at 6,700, and we're just seeing him play really, really good basketball. But I get a little nervous. Kind of same thing. Paolo Banchero's a rookie, so they'll go out and run it there. I do get worried. Markelle Fultz. I doubt you see him play 34 minutes the rest of the season. I would be very, very surprised to see Markelle Fultz play 34 minutes in a game the rest of the season. That takes a lot of the upside away from that tag.
Where is Orlando? Okay, they're not in. Yeah, they're basically all but eliminated. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All righty.
One more thing. Joseph Bonta, Banchero is playing 30 minutes a game the last however many. It doesn't matter when you're averaging like a 1.3 fantasy point per minute rate over that time period. He's right around 1.1 on the season, but he's been just taking on more of the usage, 33.3 and 32.5 the last 2 games. The rebound rates come up. And why? Well, Wendell Carter's getting off the floor more. He's been playing less than 30 minutes. That's helping his rebound rate. So a lot of reasons that even at 32 minutes, 34 minutes for Paolo Banchero, I have more interest in him than going to like a Fultz.
Chat thinks you sound like an elf today.
Why do I sound like an elf?
I don't know. More than usual, they said.
Gee, thanks.
What's Eric the house elf?
Oh, Dobby's a good house elf. My thing is that I'm like in this doggy dad voice. So my wife just went to New York. She's got business trip for 5 days in New York. So it's just me and the puppers. And I feel like all day long in the morning, it's like, oh, come here, Duke. Oh, Duke, we got to go outside. And it's just like, maybe it's like sneaking into my actual radio voice or whatever. So apologize that I sound like the Keebler elf.
All righty, let's hit our next one here. A few things to talk about. First, the San Antonio Spurs and the Sacramento Kings. San Antonio 17-point underdogs here. Jeremy Sohan out, Devin Vassell out, Keldon Johnson was doubtful last I checked. He is out now. We do have Keita Bates-Diop is in, Zach Collins is in, Trey Jones is in, Romeo Langford is in, and Doug McDermott would be in. I think Collins is really the only one I'm intrigued by, and there's a lot of centers out there tonight. How are you feeling about this one? Can they keep it frisky there for Sacramento so we can get Fox and Sabonis to pay off their salaries?
So we're starting San Antonio side?
San Antonio.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this basketball team. Maybe you can help me. I feel like I should have interest in somebody. Like, there's no Devin Vassell. There's no Keldon Johnson. There's no real issue. Well, obviously no Jeremy Sohan either. There's no issue in getting to some of these pieces, but like, God, I don't want to be playing value at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific on the Spurs when I know all of these minutes get diluted in such a prominent way because they will play every active body that they possibly can. I mean, we've seen Gorgui Dieng play 17 minutes recently, 18 minutes recently. I mean, he's been in the rotation, so that takes away any interest that I really have in trying to make Sandro Mamukashvili kind of a prominent player there. Devontae Graham's playing enough. Zach Collins is back. I mean, what are we doing here? It's such a hard team for me to land on anything with. Blake Wesley's pulling the highest ownership, but right now I don't have a single share of this team, but I feel like I should.
So I'm looking at it right now, and basically it's going to be a price thing on DK. The only two that really should be coming into your lineups will be Sandro Mamukashvili, but he's a center, and he's probably capped around 28, 29 minutes, and that there's just lots of centers out there. Zach Collins, his salary's come up quite a bit, so he's not quite as appealing. He's going to play probably 28 to 30 minutes. Trey Jones would be the other one, but we got all sorts of guard value right now. So, and he's at an apex price for him. So it's really not that exciting. And then you've got Devontae Graham, Blake Wesley, Julian Champagny. They're all going to be getting minutes from each other. So it gets real tricky here to give backing to anyone in particular.
Yeah.
Which is wild considering three of their main starters are out.
Yeah. People are saying I got to call him Gorgeous Dong. So I apologize to Neil Orfield and to his family and everybody else. Wizards starting lineup: Wright, Davis, Kispert, Avdia, Gafford. Yeah, we're going to play Johnny Davis.
Damn it. We are.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of Johnny Davis in our lives. Pretty brutal. He sucks too.
I can't believe sorry, my dog wants out now. Well, then don't come in if you're not going to stay in. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was looking at him. He didn't even average 20 points his sophomore season. They granted 19 and change there in the Big Ten. More of a rebounding guy, it looked like, from his stats than a shooting guy.
I mean, that helps on DK. I mean, he had 2 games ago in 23 minutes. Double bonus. Johnny Davis. What a time to be alive.
Dang it. Now I'm blanking. Who was it? Thomas Robinson, I think, he had a 3-game moment there for the Brooklyn Nets in springtime, 40 fantasy point games. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
All right. The Kings. So obviously we like their 2 stars, Fox and Sabonis.
Yep.
We like Kevin Huerter as well, but his price has come up.
Yeah.
On DK, the only people getting somehow Trail Lyles will disappear, but he's getting 13% right now. He's 3,700. Yeah, I don't think any of these guys are really going to come into our lineups unless you have set player caps, ownership caps, or you're forcing them in. But if you just run things naturally, none of these guys are going to come in the lineups.
Nope. And should they? I mean, the issue is like, even Sabonis, you get the triple-double bonus. He's low owned. You can definitely get to shares. That's not the issue. The issue is you're running into major blowout risk and the opportunity cost of using center on Domantas Sabonis early in the night, as opposed to Nikola Jokic if he ends up playing. Joel Embiid is at 11K, and I definitely want to be getting to him against Milwaukee in a spot that should show out in Philadelphia. And then Anthony Davis, where you could have no LeBron James, where I think that's like a true questionable tag. They're playing Houston, which if they weren't playing Houston, I think that we would probably see LeBron James. So I think we'd probably know that news already. They've done these questionable tags a lot with him. I really have no gauge on what to do with him here. Whether to put him in or not. I'm not going to probably play that much LeBron James at 9,600. On this slate, but Anthony Davis would be like my favorite tournament play of the entire slate. If you could react to that news, if it came out late, like closer to that 7 p.m. Eastern time start time, I would want way more Anthony Davis than I do Domantas Sabonis, not even considering ownership at the moment, because they're basically the same ownership. So I'm just going to wait and see on some of my spend ups at center. I'm just jamming a bunch of Jokic early, and then I'll react to that news as it comes in.
No, I think that's a good way to handle things. And chat, don't worry, we're going to dive into some of these matchups a little bit more here, starting right about now. Anything else from Sacramento, San Antonio?
Nope. But again, diving into matchups is one thing, but like there's really nobody that's DFS viable in Sacramento unless you see a massive outlier game, like Kevin Huerter making 7 threes. Keegan Bradley, the actual rookie record for 3-pointers made in a season, 5,300 for him. But like, how are we going to get to him or prioritize him with all the other pieces that we have on this slate? The answer is you're not.
Next game, Dallas at Atlanta. Dallas, the only team on a back-to-back. They lost last night in Miami. it was not pleasant, but you got to see Luka Doncic play 45 minutes. He put up 70 fantasy points, 42, 10, and 8. Kyrie Irving played, I think he played 42 minutes. He ended up with about 40 fantasy points. Who knows? The only one I really want to play here is Doncic. Tim Hardaway Jr. had some early success from 3-point range. He looked reasonable, but again, these guys are not overly exciting for me. In this one, it's Luka, and that's really it. And I'm not overly excited for him.
Yeah, I'm interested why. Again, you go and acquire Kyrie Irving, and you have all this hoopla about it. Kyrie Irving hasn't eclipsed 26% usage in a game in their past 6. In the past 6 that he's appeared, he has not once taken over the usage from Luka Doncic. And yeah, it's Luka's team. It always was. It was always going to be when they acquired Kyrie Irving, but I find that a little bit surprising. So it's hard for me to talk myself into on a back-to-back 9,300 Kyrie Irving for any other reason other than it's Kyrie Irving. I do have a share or two as it stands right now, but nothing prominent. Think that you're right. Luka Doncic, really the only piece that you could get to. Tim Hardaway Jr., if it were a different slate, would make sense. I mean, he played 41 minutes last night, put up 51 himself. He didn't even eat up that much usage himself, 21.2% in that game. So they are going to play their dudes here. I'm curious, though. I wonder what you think about, because it's a back-to-back and because it is an Atlanta spot, this game should be moving a little bit. Both teams want to be winning this basketball game very, very badly. Do we see even more condensed minutes where somehow Maxi Kleber plays 36 because he's just a guy that they like a lot more out there than a Christian Wood? Do we see anything crazy in terms of a minutes change? Because Reggie Bullock, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and blank. There's an argument I can make for Kleber, but he's just not a good enough fantasy point per minute guy, 0.6 on the season. I'm just saying that it wouldn't surprise me if he just ended up playing 34 or 36 here, even just coming down to the end of the season where they need to win to get into the play-in game.
Yeah, for him, it's really just been an injury management thing. It's just he's just been banged up. He hasn't really played. He doesn't really cross over 30 minutes when healthy. That even starting off the bench, it doesn't matter. Yes, he's a better defender than Powell. Yes, he can spread the floor better, but I mean, I could see him out there, but it's going to kind of be empty minutes, would be my guess.
Look at you. I will say you are breaking everything down in a very concise, clean way today. I enjoy flying, Mr. EMac. I think we need more 9 gamers in your life where we're just flying, because that was some good tidbits. I think I 100% agree with you. Injury management, he's been dinged up, and just feels like a spot where you're going to play your dudes, just like in a playoff rotation. Things really, really thin out. You play your guys more minutes. You have a shorter bench generally. You don't necessarily rely on it here. There's nothing really when Dallas plays at the slowest pace in the NBA, even though you're facing Atlanta, even though it's a 246 total. I'm trying to mine something out of here that isn't just Luka. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is probably going to be the guy that I maybe bump up a little bit here.
Yeah. If we look at Dallas, most teams have 4 games left in the season right now. They're 1 game out of the play-in tournament. Well, they'd still have to get ahead of Oklahoma City. So they're really 2 games back from the play-in tournament. So I don't know who has the tiebreaker. It's too many moving parts, but this is must-win game for Atlanta. On the other side, they could get up to one of the top 2 spots in the play-in tournament. That means you only need to win 1 game instead of, if they stick in the 9 seed right now, they have to win 2. So they're really going to want to win. And then you have the whole Luka Trey thing going on, which is always fun in and of itself. Moving to the Atlanta side here, Trey has just been kind of a whole lot of Mia lately.
But he's 8,800.
Yeah, 18 fantasy points in the last one, 33 before that, 46, 25, 44, 50, 21, 50, 50, 50, 60. So we're 2 weeks removed from him just rattling off some major games here. Is he a little bit dinged up? I don't know. His shot has not really been falling, and then he never really rebounds. So that hurts him from a fantasy perspective. DeJounte Murray, someone I really like. Go University of Washington.
Yeah,
he's got
kidding.
40 plus in 4 of his last 5. Well, technically 38.8 in his last one, but we'll just round up on that. I think is reasonable in this one, but we've got lots of guards. So he's going to be right at that break point at a 5.1 points per $1,000, which starts to get him into lineups tonight. But otherwise, you got the front court's crowded with Capella and Okongwu. What's going on with John Collins is the question of the day. If Okongwu was like 4,100, he'd be interesting. He's 47.
Yeah, if it were a completely different slate, he'd be interesting. I think that's kind of the same thing I was talking about with Goga, where there's a case in late season NBA to be able to get some difference pieces. Now, Atlanta's in a different place than a team like Orlando, where Orlando, they're playing for pride, they're playing for development. You still have Atlanta that's trying to jockey for position, and that's kind of the theme of the entire week. They're 38-38, they're 8th. If you can even move up to 7th, which isn't, a huge ask, you have the opportunity to host one of the play-in games. So, like, you want to be getting yourself, well, I mean, they would be hosting this one as well, but you wouldn't have to go on the road for the second one. It would be a very, very important thing to try to get to 7 where you're hosting that game. And I think Atlanta, Trae Young is just an awesome play. I think 8,800. I'm surprised he's not playing more ownership, but part of that is that there are so many good guard plays, and everybody just saw how bad he was against Brooklyn, and maybe it's a little bit of recency bias. I've never been a Trae Young stan, but it's hard to deny when he's 8,800, DeJounte Murray 7,500, even Clint Capella now sub 6K. All these prices have come down like crazy, other than Saddiq Bey, who moved into that starting lineup for the first time, played 30 minutes. Bogdan Bogdanovic has kind of been sliding outside of favor, played 24 minutes, but that was blowout run against Brooklyn. I'm pretty happy in just playing Trae Young and DeJounte Murray and moving on with this team, but Okongwu, I like what the thought process is there. It just would be a difficult ask on this slate.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. We'll get another ownership update here shortly, because we're going to have to get that new Wizards news in there. So I haven't refreshed, make sure I haven't. Yep, it hasn't updated yet. Okay, but that I'm curious to see if Murray does move up a little bit from the 19% he's at now.
Yeah, he's tremendous sub 9K. And again, I do not like Trae Young from a real basketball perspective. It's hard not to love him sub 9K from a DFS perspective today.
What do you think about Saddiq Bey?
I don't. He played 30 minutes in that start. I don't know how to evaluate that game because it got so wonky. Then Brooklyn made the run at the end to make it look, Atlanta made a run at the end to make it look better than what it was. It was a complete blowout, complete shelling. I don't think he's somebody that we should be playing now that the tag came up a little bit. It's almost like they did us a favor there, so I don't have to think about it so much on this slate. There's too much other pending news where if a Saddiq Bey 35 bomb ends up being the reason that I don't win today's slate, I'll be okay with it. I'll live. He's pulling a lot of ownership. I have 0.
I do see the DK value question. Let's see if we get another any more news in the next 10 minutes, and then we'll answer that one for you guys. I want to remind you today is the last day that you can get promo code MLB is back, which gets you half off 1 month of all access Stochastic Platinum. That gets you everything except for Fantasy Cruncher and Bet Pro, but you get everything else, which is important because we have the Masters next week. We've got the NBA or the College Basketball Championship tomorrow night. We've got NHL coming down the home stretch. We've got the last week of basketball. Plus, if you get that now, you're going to get 3 weeks of playoff information here. This is the perfect time to get it. Playoffs.
Talking about playoffs?
We are talking playoffs.
Can't win a game. Playoffs?
They are who we thought they are who we thought they are.
It's true.
All right. MLB returns, or pardon me, MLB is back is that promo code. So let's look. Oh, the other one I want to throw out there, because this one's going away as well. It's the Bet365. If you're in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia, go to Bet365, set up your account. Make sure you come in through one of our links. Bet $1, get $200 back in Bet365 bonus wagers. Wow, it used to be $365. Yes, that went down from last week. The $200 will be going away soon. So jump in on that if you are in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, or Virginia. Reminder, if you or someone you know has a gambling issue, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. And the standard age for sports wagering is 18 or older to be legal. All righty. I think we're good with Dallas and Atlanta.
Yeah, I think we are too.
On to the 7 o'clock wave. The Lakers, the Rockets. I like your thinking there for LeBron. It seems like a good time to get him a little bit of rest. I thought Anthony Davis was shot the way he went down in the last game and was writhing in pain. And you know what? His teammates, nobody called the timeout. Nobody took a foul. They ended up getting 2 more possessions and going down to the other end as he was there. And then I went and did something, came back, and he was playing magically. So he's a terrifying experience, but this is an important game for the Lakers.
Quickly starting. Hello, I win. I win. Emmanuel Quickly.
The rest of their starting lineup.
It is Brunson, Quickly, Grimes, Toppin, Robinson. No heart.
Okay.
They have a lot of heart, but they have no heart in the starting lineup.
Thank you for getting that one for me. I couldn't leave that out there. Frankie Ntilikina is available. All righty. So for as exciting as this game is, and I think it gets that much better with LeBron out. If he is out, that's the supposition here. I think you build around Anthony Davis tonight. The Lakers are going for their 3rd consecutive victory. They have a chance of getting out of the play-in tournament. The Rockets are, they don't care. Yes, they beat Detroit, but they've lost like 7 or 8 games going into that. They have assured themselves as the 3rd lowest record or 3rd worst record in the league, which is the co-share of the most lottery balls with the other craptastic teams. The thing we want to know about the Lakers, if LeBron is out, then I think that moves Austin Reeves back into the picture, potentially Dennis Schroeder. I am not going to trust Vanderbilt 4 for 5 in threes for his 3-pointers the last 2 games. No, can't do. I can't go for that. As the great duo used to say.
That was beautiful.
Kevin Porter, I should have saved it for the Philly game though. Kevin Porter Jr., 2 monsters, Eric, averaging 38.7 minutes. 21 field goal attempts. And then 38.7 minutes, 21 field goal attempts with a 55% conversion rate in his last 2 games for Kevin Porter Jr., 48% success rate on 23 3-point attempts. This has worked out to 32.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 3.5 steals, 37 minutes per game over his last 11. Jalen Green, the perfect wingman, and Alperen Sengun is back. 240 fantasy point performances in his last 2 games. I like the 5 players we talked about. Let's back out LeBron and we'll move in Austin Reeves. Those would be the 5. I'm really interested in this one.
I'm right there with you. If Austin Reeves ends up, if you end up getting LeBron James out, Austin Reeves, I'm going to be jamming. He played 39 and 38 minutes when he got inserted into the starting lineup. He's even stayed there alongside LeBron here in recent games, but 39 and 38 minutes is then waned off, 29 and 30 his last 2. I think he goes right back to that massive allotment of minutes if you have no LeBron out there. And then he obviously eats up way more of the usage and fantasy point per minute rate. It's so weird to look at him as a 0.8 fantasy point per minute guy. That's kind of where I would have him alongside LeBron. But there's been a massive shift in his profile here over the course of the last month and a half. D'Angelo Russell, just being able to play off the ball for D'Angelo Russell and letting Austin Reeves go out and create in some of those scenarios and some of those lineups where LeBron James hasn't been out there. It's been a very effective lineup for the Los Angeles Lakers. So Austin Reeves, I would get to a crazy amount if there's no LeBron. If LeBron's in, he's 9,600. I talked about it a little bit earlier where it's like, I don't know how I can have that much interest. For me, it's more of like compared to the other studs on this slate, I would need more than 34 minutes, I think, to really feel good about it. He's a 1.47 fantasy point per minute guy. So, he's phenomenal in that aspect. You don't necessarily need to get 36, but against Houston, with the Jokic news pending, with Embiid on this slate in a like show out spot with Giannis Antetokounmpo to go after an MVP in some kind of way, I just find it so hard to prioritize LeBron coming off of injury in a spot where he's questionable if he's in this game against Houston. Should be a fascinating piece of news to watch. And obviously Anthony Davis would be the guy that I would jam a lot of as well. Talked about him already, but Austin Reeves, I love the shout out there.
All right. If you want to copy it in, we just got projections and ownership updated 1 minute ago. So if you want to pull that, I would like to clarify what I said, that legal age for gambling in most states is 21 or older. I'm sorry. You now have to wait 3 more years. We're just going to crush down the millennials, Gen Z, whoever, all you youngins here. You get us old guys get all the fun. That's how it works. That's how it works. Let me see here. Who popped up dramatically? Because the answer is, where do we sit on day? So Jordan Goodwin is still our number one play on DK. Johnny Davis at 56%. Johnny Davis is at 18%. And he is the 10th most popular play. DeLon Wright is the 8th most popular play. God, we're playing the Wizards tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Boy.
Not Corey Kispert, but everybody else, yes.
No. Let's take this moment to talk about some value plays. This is a $2 super chat here for A Wright. A Wright, play your namesake D Wright. That would be someone I would definitely look to. I think we're looking at this first game. Jordan Goodwin, Jalen Brunson, DeLon Wright would be the guys really popping. Nikola Jokic, if he plays, I think he's got like the 7th best point per dollar value of anybody on DraftKings, which is nuts considering his salary, but he is just that good. He has missed the last 2 games with the calf soreness. We don't know what's going to happen. That game is the last game of the night. However, if you set your lineups up correctly, you can always have Antetokounmpo as your pivot, because that game tips off a half hour before. So that just gives you an out, not to totally be stuck if Jokic misses a 3rd consecutive game. Those would be the key guys. I'm surprised we aren't seeing really any New York guys. I would probably want to put, I'm sorry, we mentioned Brunson. Goodwin, Brunson, right. Doncic is ranking pretty good as well, which is, I guess, not a surprise. This is the rest of their season. They've got 4 games left. They need to win 3, if not all 4, to make the postseason. This would be the only game they could lose, really, to make it.
Yep.
And then, did we say Joel Embiid? Are we at that? I think we're at that game, aren't we?
Yep.
Let's slide into that game. We'll circle back with Indiana and Cleveland because that's not really that fun. Philadelphia regulars are all good to go. And Antetokounmpo, oh my God, Antetokounmpo suspended? No, that's Thanasis Antetokounmpo. I'm going to have to I'm going to put myself in a 300-second timeout for that joke. Javon Carter still questionable here.
Oh my God, EMac. Yeah, this game is all about the studs. Like, I think this is a pretty clean game to go through. Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden. This is just a phenomenal spot to get to the studs and kind of disregard the rest. Brook Lopez is $6,900. If he goes out and gets 8 blocks against Joel Embiid, I quit. That'll drive me absolutely batshit bonkers. So enjoy that, Brook Lopez. You guys can have all the fun rostering him. Tobias Harris now up to 6K. No, thank you. I'm good. Javon Carter, we don't even have to think about that news. Who really cares at this point? Everybody's kind of inflated there with Chris Middleton at 8,700 and Drew Holiday 8,100. I have zero interest in going to either one of them. I mean, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden are the only 3 players I have from this game.
All right. Yes. So say those 3 again.
Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden.
I would also add Drew Holiday.
Okay. He would be like the last man out for me because he's at least 8,100 and in the realm. But I think that Pacers game is just such a crazy outlier. 47% usage. There was no Chris Middleton on the floor for that.
Yeah.
I do not think coming down to the end of the season, Milwaukee is going to be pushing guys the same way. I mean, right now they've got number 1. They want to win basketball games, no doubt about that, because holding on to that number 1 matters.
Here's
but
the numbers. They're 1.5 games ahead of Boston. They're 4 games ahead of Philly. If they put Philly away now, they've all but assured themselves the number, at least the number 2, and they dropped that one against Boston. That was the last time they played, was Thursday, when they got their ass kicked 140-99. So they've had time off. I think this is a good measuring stick game, I think.
Okay. Well, you obviously want to win it. You're 5-point favorites at home. You just got embarrassed by Boston at home. I do expect them to play a lot better. I think it would be impossible to play any worse than they played on that back-to-back coming off of the Pacers, getting drilled by Boston and then heading out. But I feel as though there's just not a whole lot. Like Drew Holiday at 8,100. I mean, there's just an opportunity cost associated with like every single guard spot. Jalen Brunson, I prefer by a landslide for 300 more. I think
Murray's.
most people do. I prefer Darius Garland, who we haven't talked about yet, in just the absolute nut matchup against Indiana for 500 less. It's just such a dead spot to be landing on Drew in this matchup.
All right, fair enough. I see I missed a game on the run sheet, so producer
Okay.
Mike, my apologies.
I mean, they start at the same time, so it doesn't
Yes.
matter. I mean, we're going to go back and cover it.
Yeah, so this is Phoenix and OKC. My bad. They didn't have any injury news, so I skipped on over it. So hey, looks like
But they're
everybody's
playing
gonna be in.
Indiana at home, which is a good thing for Cleveland. How many Cleveland games do you see with over a 230 total ever?
I missed the game. I know. Not just Cleveland, but I mean I missed the Phoenix and OKC game. I don't really see anybody that I want to play in that one. There's
SGA.
nobody hurt.
SGA. If you're going to get in the playoffs, this is kind of your last opportunity to get in that play-in game. If you're OKC, otherwise you're probably packing it in pretty shortly here. And SGA's been dinged up. This is a spot. SGA, you could see the minutes extended a little bit just to try to go out and get it. I haven't looked at OKC. They're the one team I haven't looked at the rest of their schedule. So I'm going to pull that up here right now. I think this kind of stuff really, really matters late season. 38-40. So they have 4 games left on the schedule going into, let's go full schedule here. They would be outside of the play-in game here, and they are facing, Phoenix, Golden State, and Memphis. So 3 of their last 4. They have Utah smack dab in the middle of it on Thursday. Yeah, if they don't beat Phoenix here, they're packing it in.
Yep. All right. Let's go back here to... With Durant back, while this is exciting, and he had a nice efficient game. What did he get? Close to 40 fantasy points. I can't see putting him, Booker, Paul. I don't want to go to any of those guys.
Nor do I.
It's a no-go.
It's just such a hard spot. We got to wait for the prices to come way, way down with Kevin Durant's existence.
What about Cleveland and Indiana? Did we get our news yet on Turner? We don't know about Turner. Turner's missed the last few games. I don't think he plays tonight. Jared Allen, he's
not playing. Him. He's out already.
Turner or Jared Allen?
I think Miles Turner was already out. I think we're assuming that he's out in the projections.
Yeah, I would assume he's out. He's still got a Q tag, not the out tag.
That's true.
So I think he's going to sit. Jared Allen's played 2 of the last 6 games, 3 of the last 9 games. So
he doesn't need to play here either. I'd be surprised if he played.
Yeah. And then Duarte and Hamilton are also out. Okoro's out for the Pacers. Okoro is out for Cleveland. 12-point home favorites here. The blowout risk is real. We've seen the Pacers get a little bit frisky a couple different times against good teams this season. I think the magic has worn off. Darius Garland, yes. Mobley, probably. Is there anybody else that is making your player pool?
No. TJ McConnell, I guess, is in my player pool.
His price has been ticking up.
But he played 29 minutes last time out. Got the close. It was kind of a weird spot where I think he was just playing really well towards the end of that game. Maybe got some extra run. But I have him in a couple shares where if he ends up getting the lion's share for whatever reason, sweet. But otherwise, this is the worst matchup you could have as the Pacers, going up against Cleveland in general. So why are we trying to force it?
Fair enough. We've got 15 minutes until a lock. Believe that's going to hit us up to Golden State is the last game. Then we'll circle back and see. We've got tiers questions. We'll hit some value questions.
We should talk Cleveland too, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. So Garland and Mobley, those are the 2 that are popping.
Yeah, and Donovan Mitchell as well. With no Jared Allen out there, Karis LeVert being in that starting lineup has been a little bit of an issue. I brought it up with Greg. We pulled up his fantasy point per minute rate, Karis LeVert's. The man legitimately had a 0.6 fantasy point per minute rate in minutes sharing the floor with Mitchell, Mobley, and Garland this season. It started to come up a little bit, but what's also started to come up for him and why I have some interest today is he's played a lot of minutes in the starting lineup, 34 and 37 now, the last 2 since he got inserted in there. The price tag's up to 5,800, but if this game does get wonky, which the 12-point spread, I think he's a guy that could go out and get some closing run You're not going to have Mitchell, Mobley, Garland going into the playoffs out there necessarily doing it. So like Karis LeVert, I think is a really good tournament option today. Just kind of putting a little bit of a boost there. Consider he's 2%. I mean, you get to 8-10%. Not too hard to be over the field on Karis LeVert.
We'll do tiers question, then we'll hit Golden State and the Nuggets. I just ran tiers with the latest projections. So tier 1 is rather interesting. If you want to get some low, high upside, low owned leverage, it's going to be going with Jokic. He basically projects the same as Doncic. Your bailout is either Giannis or Embiid. They do start a half hour before, but if we get word that Jokic is out or you start to get nervous, you can go to those other guys. Otherwise, Luka has got a 4-point advantage on the rest of those. I still think it's better to use this as your leverage spot. Tier 2, it's pretty clearly Anthony Davis must-win situation. I would say Curry is your next best option. He and Sabonis are a coin flip, but I don't know how much Sabonis could get, his 40 fantasy points in 3 quarters and not need to get any more. You need to get 50 from this tier. Tier 3, Eric will say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think we cross LeBron off. I would cross off Devin Booker, and I really don't want to play Irving. So I would probably just lock in Gilgeous-Alexander. Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell are your top 2 guys. I guess I'd go Donovan Mitchell because we don't have to worry about salary over Trae Young in the tiers.
Yep.
Tier 5, easy is Jalen Brunson. Your alternative, I believe, would be Kevin Porter Jr. They both project, actually, everybody in this tier projects about the same. Brunson has a 6-point advantage amongst the also-rans. I'd still go with Brunson. And then the final tier, I would probably take Jamal Murray. He's most likely going to play. You do have, I think you've got at least one pivot in there in an earlier game that you could go to. You either go him or Garland would be your 2 there. So feels good.
So my Timberwolves going to lose to frickin' Portland at home.
That would be.
Is this real life?
Which simulation are we in?
I don't know. The one where I'm absolutely crestfallen because Naz Reid was starting to be that dude and breaks his wrist. So great.
Real quick, we got a couple more starting lineups. Nothing surprising. Atlanta is Trae Young, Murray, Bay, Collins, Capella. Dallas is Doncic, Irving, Hardaway Jr., Bullock, and Powell. Detroit, Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Livers, Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman. Yeah. And then Sacramento starting the huge Fox, Herter, Barnes, Murray, and Sabonis. Value plays here, and then you can kick us off here with Golden State. They were saying, if we had to prioritize the best value plays from Washington and the Knicks, they're the top 6 plays right now. I would play 4 of them so you don't have as much overlap. I would say it's Brunson, Wright, Goodwin, as much as I hate to, and then Johnny Davis or Josh Hart. I'd probably go with Josh Hart just because.
Yep.
But those are your main value plays on DK. I'll call it FanDuels here in a moment. Take us through Golden State, please.
Yeah, Golden State, Steph Curry seems like a tournament option that you could get to, but Jonathan Kuminga being the priority of anybody here. I'm playing a ton of him from the onset. There's some interesting stuff to talk about on the Denver side and how this matchup could play out if there's no Nikola Jokic, but Jonathan Kuminga sliding into the starting lineup here for the foreseeable future, I would expect. They've played a lot better of late with him there, and he's played pretty serviceable minutes there, 31 and 27. Against Denver on the road here as slight dogs, even if you get no Jokic out there. I think there's an opportunity for Kuminga to go out and put up a really good number at 4,600 plus. Gives you some swappability into some other pieces on the Denver side by having the power forward center eligibility. So I kind of want to just have that piece that I'm bolstering up, and then I can turn it into as many nuggets as I possibly want after the fact. Klay Thompson could always catch fire. He's 6,600 shooting guard, small forward. Dante DiVincenzo on a different slate. Again, 4K. Would be a lot of fun, but not this one.
Would you even screw around with Kuminga or anybody else on the main slate, or are they late slate only plays?
So, I mean, I talked about Kuminga. I think Kuminga is just somebody you get to, and you can turn him into a lot of other pieces on the Denver side because that positionality, whether it's Zeke Naji or who I think ends up playing a ton, Jeff Green would be the guy I'd want to get to a ton of from Denver against Golden State if there's no Jokic. Jordan Poole, 6,500, probably the last guy that you could maybe make a case for. But those minutes, you never really know what you're running into. He hasn't exceeded 32 now in the last 4. He's gotten by just massive 3-point volume. Been knocking down shots again. That's good to see if you're a Golden State fan, but guard is very, very precious, and I don't feel like we need to be doing that today.
Denver. We got Jokic.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, everybody else in, though, kind of cleans up the situation. Jamal Murray, talked about him before. Just I'm getting to a ton of him. I would get to a ton of Aaron Gordon, depending on when we get that news at. Even at 6,800, Bruce Brown Jr., 5,500. He would be somebody that I think it's a little bit different when it's not Jamal Murray because, we played 37 minutes against Phoenix, absent Murray there specifically. But I still think Bruce Brown will show up in lineups for me at 5,500 if there's no Jokic. Michael Porter Jr., 5,900. You could just get to everybody here. KCP at 4,300. Everybody makes a lot of sense if there's no Jokic. We're talking about like the most influential player in terms of overall usage, highest fantasy point per minute rate in the NBA at 1.75 on DK. It is impossible for me not to like this team for tournaments in such a prominent way. But when this news comes out matters so much. I would want to get to Jokic in absolute troves. You would never find Jokic as low owned as what you'll run into against Golden State here in this spot. If that news comes out later as well. So we're all going to be by our computers. We're all going to be getting that news at the same time. If you have questions, hit me up at Eric Lindquist. You can jump in the premium Discord for any questions you might have. The premium basketball Discord here at Stochastic, one of the best parts of being a member here. We can talk through some of those scenarios, but I'm not going anywhere because I would want a lot of Aaron Gordon, a lot of Michael Porter Jr., a lot of Jamal Murray. That's going to probably show up no matter what if there's no Jokic.
All right. Are your lineups uploaded?
No. Jeff Green, last shout out, 3,400. I think he would end up being somebody for tournaments that I would have a ton of interest in the event that we got that news. Zeke Naji is still questionable to my understanding. And yes. I think that's a very under the radar piece of news that we have. DeAndre Jordan got the start last time out and played actually probably as good as DeAndre Jordan could play. Got 12 rebounds for you. Paired that with 4 stocks. Again, I don't think that at 4,400, he's in the realm of something I'd want to go crazy with in tournaments. But Jeff Green in this matchup, 3,400, I would want an absolute ton of him if you get both Jokic and Naji out.
All right. I am terrified because for whatever reason, I only have 2% Jalen Brunson.
That's very bad. I would not want that.
Yep. We're riding with it though, folks.
Oh, you sick man.
We're riding with it. That's why I got to cruise on.
That's my guy.
To Bet 365 or to Prize Picks or to one of these other sites and start betting some player props with him. But that's the show comes first. The show comes first. So there we are. We've got 5 minutes to go here. I can read you everything, but where's the fun in that? Let's just ride here. See what we got. Any questions? Is the lineup builder? Is every lineup set unique? So good question there. That's from Salvo G. This is in reference to the Stochastic lineup builder. What it does is it creates thousands of lineups, tosses all the ones that are less than positive, meaning their expected value, their upside, popularity, etc. We weed out all the crappy ones for you. We could get 10 of us here and we could all click generate on the lineups, and very rarely are we ever going to come up with the same lineup. So the answer is most likely not. It's very, very easy to have unique lineups, even in the NBA, because all it takes is 5% player in there that just changes everything. So the duplication factor is not going to be high. The other thing you can do to make it more your own is you can lock in players. Or if you get the perfect lineup that pops up, but you're like, I can't stand this player, you can click on that player and it'll bring in a new player for you. So it's very, very flexible, and it's built so it doesn't create a lot of duplicates. You get more duplicates out of a regular optimizer if you're not putting in enough rules or randomness, or you've got some constraints that are rather tight. You'll dupe yourself as you're building things out when you try to export it into your summary crunch or summary file if you're using another optimizer than you will in the lineup generator, even if everybody's just clicking the same ones. So that's but it's a good question. Oh, you're telling me I should change this, producer Mike?
Yeah, I think you're calling him out because he deserves it.
All right, let me figure out how
going against my boy. How dare you?
Jalen Brunson. Let's build another.
Seems like the Knicks are better than they've normally been, huh? Wonder why that would be. Yeah, he's a freak.
What percent do you have, sir?
68. Just throwing it out there.
We die on this hill. We're dying on this hill. That's fine. That's fine. I don't want. I like the rest of my stuff. Other than
die,
that one
you shall.
Glaring
son.
hole in all of this.
Die, you shall.
All righty. Let's see what else. What other fun do we have? Oh, the Osmo or the Stochastic Avatar. The way to get 30 days of free Stochastic is to rep the avatar. Go over there to stochastic.com/avatar. Place top 3 for second or third, but actually top 3. No ties unless you 3-way tie for first. That's great. 500-way tie for first. Congratulations. That's not what the contest asks for. So you got to place in the top 3. Any contest over 5,000 people. Tweet out your Stochastic Avatar and the win to Stochastic HOF, and you will be in the running for 30 days of Stochastic Premium, plus a pretty good chance you're going to see yourself in the Hall of Fame segment. Do you have any questions? There are some answers on that page, the Stochastic Avatar stochastic.com/avatar, where you can always reach out to support@stochastic.com. Bet365, if you are in Ohio, Colorado, New Jersey, or Virginia, time is running out. Join Bet365 coming through the link below us here and wager $1. You will then get $200 in Bet365 credit. And the most important thing to remind you all of that, the promo code MLB is back. That gets you 50% off 1 month of Stochastic Premium. That's not just baseball. That's all of Stochastic Premium. We've got the Masters coming up. We've got MMA cards. We've got the full first 3 weeks of NBA playoffs. You'll get all that. That expires tonight. So if you're going to use that, do not delay, do not procrastinate. It's only going to cost you money. There we go.
That'd be bad.
That money is bad. Kessler out with a concussion.
Ow.
I'm sensing some Schadenfreude from Mr. Lindquist here.
Well, I'm not exactly thrilled about the situation when I just saw Minnesota lose to Portland at home. So
107-105.
I mean, my dear God, I'm just so happy I didn't bet that. They were 17.5-point favorites.
What is that like?
It was a lot. You could have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
you could have made a lot of money today with the old plus number there.
That was even with the Ant-Man scoring 37.
I am aware. Thanks, EMac. Appreciate you, pal.
That's what I'm here for. Looks like a little foul trouble there for one Carl Anthony Towns. Sorry.
I made a mistake here.
Wait, so
go.
Aside from me not having enough Jalen Brunson, what are anything terrifying you? I'm going to quickly go over.
I ended up with a little Kendrick Nunn. I think that's terrifying to me. But late season NBA, I don't think people understand how wonky things can get for teams that are out of it. Washington, for all intents and purposes, is out of it. I ended up getting to 8% Kendrick Nunn, which is not what I was expecting to see when I finished everything out, but I think it makes sense.
To quote the amazing philosopher Billy Ocean, don't want none.
Don't want none unless you got buns, hon?
No, that would be Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, okay.
Don't want none. That's the Caribbean Queen. And then he
dear God,
says
end the show. End the show. I can't. EMac. Why?
Everybody likes a little BO in their life. Come on. Eric is about to expire, but let me call up the get over here. Are you in the $15 on DK? Oh, I got 5 there. I found the link. Oh,
Andrew
that's
Jennison, I got 8% none too. Yeah, so we're drawn to 92% of our lineups is the way that I look at it. Absurd.
why is it only the early contests? All right, well, we're gonna get off Eric because Eric's got stuff he needs to go.
Hey, it's almost like this hour worked out perfectly for us, EMac.
It did. It did. Oh, all right. Well, with that, we're going to get on out of here because some of us have to record Leans, Likes, and Locks video. One of the most popular videos out there in the YouTube sports world. If you guys are not listening to this the night before and getting your closing line values, etc., you're doing it wrong. Mr. Lindquist does humans work on that.
I love
5 days a week. And then Aton comes in, cleans it up on the weekends. You guys are phenomenal. I really enjoy that. You can get that first thing in the morning on the Odd Shopper podcast channel, but it's up the night before on the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. So check that out. We of course have what is the golf channel called? Odd Shopper Golf.
Yeah, Odd Shopper Golf. We're getting ready for the Masters, baby. Going to be a crazy week. Looking forward to it. I'm heading out to Arizona for the weekend for Easter, but I am specifically leaving Wednesday night for very good reasons. So I am very excited to go out there and degen and do all the great things that I'm supposed to be doing in the old golf streets for the Masters. Everybody loves it. I hope you guys come check out the Odd Shopper Golf channel. I do Lindy's best 9 bets over there. You know, didn't want to have leads, likes, and locks be everything that I do here, but doing my 9 favorite bets from the Masters. I think we hit another winner. I didn't finish watching the end of the golf tournament because I ended up watching the end of that Timberwolves game. But did Corey Connors get the job done? Because that would be 2 outright winners in a row. Sure enough, he did. 15 under. Corey Connors gets it done. 2 straight winners on Lindy's best 9 bets.
That's pretty impressive. Plus, you're also making appearances on the Odd Shop. That is also on the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. That is Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock. Check that out. A lot of fun. Goes through how to use the different tools, including Bet Pro, the Odd Shopper, which 2 separate packages there, and then how to read the lines and understand how to react to news. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy catching that when I can.
And check out Building Blocks, my dude EMac over there every single NBA day. You can't give me a shout out and not let me give you a shout out for the most popular article we have here in the Stochastic Streets. So Building Blocks, check it out. Your old pal EMac giving you the knowledge on the daily.
All right. Well, with that, shout out to Team Eric. Nice show. Nice show. If we do say so ourselves.
Nice, tight, concise hour. That's all my dog could handle.
Yes, you can follow Eric on Twitter at Eric Lindquist. I'm at EMac DFS. Of course, it is stochastic_COM. With that, hat tip to producer Mike, and good luck, gamers.